Hello and welcome to everybody who has logged in and will watch our webinar. Our webinar is about our brand new machine in our portfolio, in our attaching portfolio. It's the loop tagger system. The loop tagger system is something we all have been waiting for many years. Questions have been asked by many of our customers. How can we automate any loop attaching system? And we all know, of course, the manual Bannock and Avery tools trying to do the job, but that was never sufficient. Finally, we can announce that we have the solution, an automated solution giving you the opportunity to fasten your production and make a much more fluent label and packaging system or ID than what you ever have had before. It was a long journey. It took us a lot of time to try and solve the problem going from something manual to an automated gun, which will do the system. And indeed, we think we really succeeded in presenting you something which will do that job for you. Of course, you all know how the manual thing works, and this machine is really made to work in many different types of industries and productions. First and foremost, of course, the kitchen utensils, the kitchen items. Think about cutlery, spoons, whatever you want to attach a label to and hang on a shelf is what the primary interest was. But apart from that, of course, people that have toys which they want to hang a car to, anything in the tool business, hammers, screwdrivers, whatever has a hole in where we can put a needle through and have the label on, it'll work. Apart from all these industries, of course, we have our main customer supply, which has always been in the textile industry. Anything about textiles, where you want to have a loop tag hang to your product, or washcloth, lingerie, clothing, whatever you want, it'll do the job for you. Basically, any product that has the ability to put a loop through and is not really too big will be able to be labeled and attached by our loop tagger system. For us, it's a key element, and it has always been a key element, that the machine should be easy to operate, easy to work with, and fast to go from one production to another. If you have a new set of products, same products, you can use the same pins, the same loops, changing over cards, it should all go really quickly and easy. That was the main focus in developing the machine, and also for that, I hope that you will see that we have succeeded in that. Now we will turn to a short video explaining you all about the different features of the machine, and which should give you a good insight on what the machine can do and what the machine is capable of. So let's turn our attention now to a short instructive video and have a look at our little explaining video about the machine.
Welcome! In this video, we will explain some of the features of our loop tagger machines. In this particular video, we'll use the loop tagger 2 model. Let's dive in. To start the machine, plug in the power socket and push the pressure valve towards the machine to let the air flow in. Make sure the big red emergency stop button is pulled outwards. The machine is now ready for action. On the right side of the machine, you will find 2 knobs and 2 push buttons. The automation or manual mode knob, and the 1 or 2 cards knob, and 2 test buttons below those knobs. After selecting the manual mode, the machine is ready to set all parameters. When looking at the card feeders, we immediately see that they can be set to any size of card or tag, adjusted to your specific needs. With the big black knob at the side of the card feeder, you can set the width of the machine in no time. Inside the feeder, there's a centered slider, opening or closing the guide bars on both sides to nicely fit to your cards. The same goes for the top card holder above the labels. It is key that the cards are nicely held in place without squeezing them. Too much pressure would result in stuck cards and a failure at time of production. Time to test the correct release of the cards over the needle. To set the left feeder in the correct position, you simply push the right and highlighted test button once. The arm of the card feeder takes up one card and puts it over the needle. If the position is not pinpoint, you can unscrew the foot of the card feeder by loosening the black screws and adjust the position of the feeder. If the whole of the card is nicely placed over the needle, you can fasten the two screws again. A second push on the test button now releases the card. The same procedure goes for the right card feeder. Now let's look at the loop pins. Feed the loop pins all the way to the front of the loop gun until you hear a soft click, and see that both ends are nicely placed above the slot and under the needle. We're still in the manual mode, which means that pushing either the green button or the foot pedal will only activate a loop pin cycle. If the loop pin closes correctly, we're set for some real production. There are 3 options while going into the actual production. 1. You only want to shoot some loops around your product without applying any cards. For this, you stay in manual mode, and each time you press the pedal or green button, a cycle is made. Simple and easy. 2. You want to apply one card on your product, and therefore you switch to the automation mode. The first time you press the pedal, the card is presented and the machine stops. You now present your product over the needle and press a second time. Now the loop is made through both your product and the card. Once you take away your nicely labeled product, a new card is automatically presented over the needle. 3. You go full force and want to apply 2 cards to each product. For this, you switch the 1 or 2 cards knob in the down position, and the machine is ready to run exactly the same procedure, but now for 2 cards. To clear the digital counter and set it back to 0, push the test button for 5 seconds in automation mode. The counter clears and you are set for a new production. This concludes our short summary on the Loop Tagger 2. For any further information, you can simply turn to one of our Marisan colleagues, who will be eager to help you. Thank you for watching.
Okay, let's hope that this little video was already quite instructive and gave you a good insight in what we can do for you with this machine. Of course, you will not only see me talking here, sitting on a table. Let's move our attention now to our machine, of course. This is the star of the show, and let's present a little bit more about our little star here on the table. I would like to dive into a couple of advantages that we have with this machine. First and foremost, of course, is time saving. I mean, thinking about having to do loops manually, picking cards, putting a loop through a product takes tons amounts of time and a lot of people to do the business. With this machine, presenting cards and the pins all at the same time just speeds up your production, speeds up your packaging so much that this little friend of yours, and it will be your new little friend, will do that so much easier and faster. Also, of course, taking away a lot of stress from the operators, the people at packaging, because they can do the job faster, easier, and in a more relaxed way, because the machine will always be able to follow the speed or quickness of the operator. When we say time saving, we also say, of course, it's inevitable cost saving, because as quicker you can go, the more cost you save at your packaging moments or production time. Meaning also that if you have a lot of different products, a lot of different items that you want to attach to your cards, no problem, it will always do the same thing. Worst case scenario, we just want to go from one type of loop pin, let's say the 5-inch pins, we go to the 9 or the 3-inch pins. Could happen. That's a little procedure taking you 1 minute, up and running again, and you can continue your production. Also really important, of course, is the fact that we only use a minimum of resources, meaning we just need 220 volt, a normal socket. You can put it anywhere in your warehouse, and apart from that, a little bit of air supply. Putting it in, 8 bar pressure, and a normal electricity socket, and it will do the job each and every time. It's a compact machine, meaning that wherever you want to put it in your warehouse, in your production, you just take it with you, put it on a new table, and connect it again, and it will work. So that should be quite easy to handle and operate. This, what you see here now, this machine is our Loop Tagger 2, which you saw also in the video. 2 just meaning that we have 2 card feeders. We can have machines without a card feeder, with 1 card feeder, with 2 card feeders, and for people that really want to go a little bit berserk, we even have the machine with 3 card feeders. Can all be built up. It's always preset, meaning that if you make a decision to buy a machine with 1 or 2 card feeders, that this will be your setup. I think it's now time that we make a little bit of a live demonstration about the machine, just showing how it works. I know you saw the video, but it's always nice to see something live. And for that, we have my colleague Bart, who will be presenting now this system with shooting 2 cards. Bart, you push the first time, and you see 2 cards are presented. If now a second push is done, the product is labeled, and 2 new cards are already fed. So that will always follow the speed of the operator on the machine. If we want to go to 1 card label, of course we will do 1 last shot of 2 cards. You just do that, Bart, no problem. Taking it away, and now you see we just switched 1 button and it presented 1 card. Super fast and easy. We have a production now for 1 card. We put the product on, push it, and the product is labeled again. We have had questions already about people asking like, okay, but what if I only want to have a loop around 2 products tying together? We don't need cards. Well, then we put it in manual mode for this machine, meaning that only the loop cycle will be activated and the cards will remain just where they are. Just presented, Bart, no problem. And that's it. The products are nicely tied together, no cards attached, and with this we can super quickly, super easy go between one card, 2 cards, no cards, and so on and so forth. I think that this shows a little bit what the machine can do, of course. And another question could be, or should be, will be, okay, we have here now 1 set of loop pins. What are the types of loop pins? Well, the loop pins, we have them in 3 lengths, which are quite standard in the market, is the 3-inch, the 5-inch, and the 7-inch. For us European people, that would mean 75, 125, and 200 millimeter long pins. Depending on the product you want to use, depending on how you want to hang your card on your product. The pins come in boxes of 5,000 pieces, but what we changed to what we know from the manual pins is now we have strips of 100, meaning that you have a longer production before you have to interchange strips of pins, having less turnover time and more production time. the more production time we have, the cheaper it all gets because we work faster. And then the classical, of course, 10 of these little boxes in a carton and 2 cartons in an overbox. So we have 100,000 pins in a supersize over carton box. As you know, of course, all these items, all these lengths of pins will be on stock at Marisan as you're used from us from all our other products. So whenever there is a need for pins, give us a shout, give us a call, and one day later you will have your new boxes of pins. We have built the machine to last as long as possible without having to interchange anything about the machine. But of course, something could happen. The most obvious switch that we might need to do is to interchange a needle. Interchanging a needle is unscrewing 3 screws, taking out a needle, and putting the new needle in. What do we mean with that? We have there, which Bart is now showing, the little pistol guiding block, which just keeps the pistol always in the same position. You unscrew that, take it away, and then at the back of the machine, there is a little imbus screw. You unscrew it a little bit, and then you can just take out that needle, put in a new needle, fasten the screw again, put a block on, screw it back, finished. And you can keep on producing. There are some other parts in the machine that could be interchanged, like of course we have always ejector rods, which are now at 2 sides of the machine. One is in the needle there, indeed, and the other one is in the pistol, because we need 2 actions to put the loop together. It's the same ejector rod for the 2 sides. So if ever you need a spare part, it will always be the same ejector rod. Many other parts won't be necessary to quickly interchange. There could be a little air sucker which we can replace. All the pneumatics are from AirTech, which is really easily bought at local supplies all over Europe as well. So you don't need to be worried about that. If you want to replace a cylinder after a couple of years of work, you can just order it at ours or just go to AirTech yourself and order a new cylinder. That's all no real big deal. If anything else would happen, then we're always there to give you support and service as you are used from us. I think I covered most of the general topics about our machine. It is easy to work with, it is simple. I think most of the things are self-explaining about the machine. That was the really purpose of it all. I would like to ask you now, our beloved customers, if there are any questions, anything you think about, and if you have any question, you can just write it in, and then we'll answer that question for you. I see that a first question just popped up, and that is, what about the green knob and the foot pedal? So we have both a green knob, and if I just push it, then you see it makes his little loop. And adjacent to that, we have also the foot pedal. Some people really like to have, with small products, to use the green knob system, because you just put the product on the green knob, press it, and it will make a cycle. In other circumstances, a foot pedal might be easier because you have then your hands free and you don't have to push a knob. Both options can be ordered. You can choose for the green knob will always be on the table, but if you want an extra pedal, just ask for it. It will cost you nothing more. It's the same price. But if you really are not going to use the pedal and it's just in your way, then you can order the machine without the foot pedal as well. And it will work on both systems. You can even switch between the green knob and the pedal as much as you like. If they are both installed, then you can use them both. So that, I hope, gives a little bit more insight on that technical little question. I see another question coming in. It's about production. If we say speed fast, cost saving. What does that mean? We did quite some testing already. And of course, it depends a little bit on the product you have. It depends a little bit on how you can organize yourself around your machine. But it should be quite easy to make, let's say, 1,000 labeling or production loops per hour, because the machine will do a full cycle in about 3 seconds, more or less. So if everything is just around you and the operator just needs to pick a product, put it on the machine, it goes so fast that about 1,000 products, and if we say between 7 and 1,100, then we're always correct, will be possible. The only thing we really need is every 100 shots, we will have to put in a new clip. Putting in a new clip takes about, what is it, maybe 30 seconds, and then you're up and running again for a new production. Filling the cards can be done by the operator or somebody else who's standing beside that. So cards, pins, that's the only replaceable item you need. And you see it's quite a long card feeder, so you can have easily 100, maybe 200 cards on the card feeder and just continue with your production. So that would wrap up a complete production for one machine, maybe somewhere between 7 and 10,000 pieces per day, if you have a good, productive co-worker, which of course will be the case. Another question could be, what I'm now thinking about myself is, what happens if I buy a machine with 1 card feeder and afterwards I want to go to 2 card feeders? That may be one thing where you need to make a decision beforehand. Meaning that once the machine is really built up, it's set for what it's been built up. The cost of having to add stuff and changing all pneumatics and so on would be higher than the cost of a new machine. So that would be a little bit silly. Ideal is when you think I might need 2 cards sometimes, and a lot of times the 1 card, then it's actually cheaper just to buy the machine with the 2 card feeders and use it for 1 card. And that will just be a switch of a knob, and then you go to the 2 cards at the same time. I don't know if there is any other question that we can tackle. I think this concludes it for now. So I would like to thank everybody who is now live watching the video, even people in the future watching us on YouTube. Hello, people in the future. Then I hope you have some real positive ideas and insight also on our machine. Don't be afraid to give us a call, send us an email. On social media, we are foundable on every type of platform. Give us a ring, give us a call, and we'll be really happy to help you further with whatever question you might have. Thank you very much for watching. It was my pleasure to present this to you. And for any further question, just give us a shout and we will be there. Bye for now.